The only thing white people have lost they have lost the ability to do is to say nigga without consequences. That's it. What else have they lost? Donald Sterling said made $2 billion saying.
Well,
Joe Rogan said he made $150 million.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to celebrate.
I would like to thank my incredible cast. Woomy, thank you so much for giving Smoke opportunity to be.
DL Hughley is making it crystal clear. He's not here for the Academy Awards, and he had some thoughts about Michael B. Jordan taking home an Oscar after that wild incident at the Baptist. Now, hold up. DL wasn't coming for Michael personally. Instead, he went after the system itself, calling out what he sees as a humiliating ritual aimed at black actors. DL has openly said before that these awards don't hold much real value for him, insisting that black people shouldn't have to beg white institutions for validation. Then he dropped this tweet. Whether it's the Oscar committee or a grand jury, whenever people meet in secret, the results ain't going to be good for black people. Listen to this. DL has been in Hollywood long enough to see the cost of winning in their world, and he claims that's exactly what happened with Michael. He saw Will Smith grind for years, only to finally win after slapping another black man on stage. He saw Halle Berry take home an Oscar for a role that centered on a black woman falling for a racist prison guard who killed her husband. A role packed with trauma, graphic scenes, and a storyline of a white man's redemption. And what happened to Halle afterward? Her career slowly fizzled, with most of her recent work going straight to streaming platforms. When she won in 2002, she dedicated her Oscar to Dorothy Dandridge, the first African-American woman nominated, and to every woman of color who had to fight tooth and nail for a seat at this table. DL's point? Hollywood wins for black actors often come with hidden costs, and he's not afraid to call it out.
Moment is for Dorothy Dandridge, Lena Horne, Diane Carroll. It's for the women that stand beside me, Jada Pinkett, Angela Bassett, Vivica Fox, and it's for every nameless, faceless woman of color that now has a chance because his door tonight has been opened.
But let's be real. What did Halle's Oscar really change? She even admitted she expected it to open doors, land her bigger, more meaningful roles. Instead, she got Catwoman. Yeah, that happened. And fast forward 24 years later, and Halle still stands as the only black woman to snag the Oscar for Best Actress in a Leading Role. Now, look at Lupita Nyong'o. She won for 12 Years a Slave, both Best Supporting Actress, and the acclaim was massive. But what did it actually get her? More offers to play slaves. Talk about a harsh reality check. This is Hollywood, folks, and the wins don't always translate to freedom or opportunity.
After I won that Academy Award, you think, oh, I'm gonna get lead roles here and there. Oh, Lupita, we'd like to play another movie where you're a slave, but this time you're on a slave ship. Those are the kinds of offers I was getting in the months after winning my Academy Award.
Now hold up. This is where the Michael B. Jordan Oscar story gets messy. Just a few weeks ago at the BAFTAs, Michael was on stage presenting an award when chaos hit. A man with Tourette's syndrome shouted the N-word directly at him and at his Sinners co-star, Delroy Lindo. You won't believe the tension in that moment.
Delroy and I are delighted to be presenting the first BAFTA of the night for a vital part of movie making.
We're here to...
All right, listen to this. Here's where the Michael B. Jordan Oscar situation gets really messy. Yes, the guy who shouted the slur at the BAFTAs has Tourette's, so sure, maybe it was just a coincidence that it happened while two black actors were on stage. That part we can roll with. But hold up, here's where it gets wild. The BAFTAs were pre-recorded with a 2-hour delay, giving the BBC plenty of time to cut moments they didn't want viewers to see. And let's be real, if the slur had been aimed at literally any other group, that clip would have been gone in a second. So why leave it in? Why let Michael and Delroy Lindo face public humiliation in front of millions worldwide? And here's the kicker. Michael said nothing. Delroy later told reporters he wished BAFTA had reached out afterward, but Michael stayed silent, taking it all in. Fast forward a few weeks, he wins an Oscar. And that's exactly what D.L. Hughley calls a humiliation ritual. First, you get degraded publicly. Then the same people who let it happen hand you a gold statue, expecting gratitude. It's a test. Can you endure the shame and still play nice? Can you be the good black actor who doesn't rock the boat? Step back and look at the bigger picture. Oscars for actors of color often measure compliance. Smile through the slurs, take the traumatic roles, and call it art. DL's point is crystal clear. Black people shouldn't beg white institutions to love or accept us. And it gets worse when you look at the history. 96 years of Oscars and no black director has ever won Best Director. Let that sink in. Nominations, you can count them on one hand. John Singleton made history in 1991 as the first black director nominated for Boys in the Hood. Didn't win. Lee Daniels for Precious? Nope. Steve McQueen for 12 Years a Slave? Lost. Barry Jenkins for Moonlight? Lost to Damien Chazelle for La La Land. Spike Lee, one of the most influential filmmakers ever, didn't even get nominated until 2019 for BlacKkKlansman, and he still hasn't won. What does this tell us? Black actors can win Oscars playing slaves, maids, or tragic figures in white stories, but telling your own story, controlling your narrative, that's where Hollywood draws the line. This isn't new, it goes back to the origins of the industry. Hattie McDaniel became the first black Oscar winner in 1940 for Gone with the Wind, playing a maid. But on the night of the ceremony, she was forced to sit at a segregated table in the back, away from her white co-stars. Even in death, racism followed her. When Hattie passed in 1952, she requested burial at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, and they said no because it was segregated.
All right, let's break this down. Hattie McDaniel went decades without a proper marker on her grave, and it wasn't until 1999 that Hollywood finally put up a memorial. And this was Hattie making the same choice black actors still make today. Take the degrading role and hope it leads somewhere better. But for Hattie, it didn't, and she spent her career hustling for scraps while fighting to be seen. Fast forward to now, and Hollywood is still obsessed with the white savior storyline. From The Blind Side to Green Book, it's the same pattern. A black genius exists mainly to uplift a white character. The black experience is filtered through a white lens and sold for white consumption. And hold up, according to T.F. Reed, a professor of African American history at Illinois State University, Sinners is no better. Dr. Reed recently published a critique, calling the film a false vision of empowerment. He points out that the movie pushes the narrative that the solution to oppression is just realizing your own power. But personal empowerment alone doesn't dismantle systems built on economic exploitation. Agree with him or not, the fact remains Hollywood still has a problem. And getting a seat at a table after being publicly humiliated, that's not progress. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, it's not that deep. Why can't we just celebrate Michael B. Jordan? I get it. On the surface, it looks like a big win. A talented black actor recognized by Hollywood's biggest award. But here's the kicker, and this is exactly what D.L. Hughley has been saying. Celebrating individual wins while ignoring systemic issues, that's not the solution. And let's talk Michael B. Jordan for a sec. He's talented, yes, but Hollywood sees him as safe. Watch his interviews, check his public statements. He rarely takes strong stances on anything that might ruffle feathers. And even when the BAFTAs let a man shout the N-word at him, Michael stays silent. Some fans even compared him to what Michael Jordan got criticized for in the 90s. Remember when MJ said, "Republicans buy sneakers too," and refused to endorse a black candidate running against a known hater? Some see the same energy here. And that's exactly why Hollywood loves Michael B. Jordan. Talented enough to carry a franchise, safe enough to never make anyone uncomfortable. He won't risk the next role by speaking out. And that's the point D.L. Hughley was making. Whether it's the Oscar committee or a grand jury, whenever people meet in secret, the results ain't gonna be good for black people. But I wanna hear from you. Do you agree with DL? Or is this reading too much into it? How do you feel about Michael B. Jordan and his place in Hollywood? Drop your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the next video. You know we've got more tea coming.